The Hawk and I, Saturday, January 27th, 9:14 a.m. Continuing with this journal approach, yesterday I had an insight to I got from Neil Gaiman. There was two insights. The first insight was that he makes use of boredom, uses boredom as a way to write better. So what he does every day at 1 o'clock, he goes into a little cabin on his property. He has no phone, no computer, no internet, no interruptions at all. He takes with him a pad of paper and a pen or pencil, and he sits in this room. He allows himself only to do one thing, and that is to write. And if he doesn't feel like writing, he sits. And what he has found is that if he sits long enough, his resistance to writing fades away and he begins to find writing a lot more interesting than sitting there doing nothing. And he stays in his cabin every day until 6 p.m. So that's 5 hours of sitting in his cabin, no phone, no computer, no internet. And it helps his writing. He's a very prolific bestseller writer, and it shows in his dedication to the craft. And I decided to give that a try as well, but not to focus solely on writing, but to have a period where I don't do anything on the internet, nothing on the smartphone, no checking anything anywhere, no talking to anyone else. I either sit quiet, meditate, or write. So that's my variation. While this journal is called The Hawk and I, it is also an ongoing journal about my experience of having wild animals come to me. One of the other visitors to my deck cafe is a large raven, and I've noticed him. He's come many times and he's very nervous. He sees the food, he wants it, he paces back and forth. He seems very anxious. And I guess, when you have large predators in the trees above the deck, it would make any kind of raven pretty nervous. But this raven is always nervous, even if there are no predators nearby. And it's an interesting dynamic. It's very different than the hawks. In fact, the hawks are different. Each one has a different personality. But it comes out by watching them each day. I've begun to really learn about these different animals. Now, the hawks tend to come when I call. This raven does not respond in the same way. The hawks tend to come each morning at 7 a.m. The raven shows up at random times. So there's some differences in their personality, as well as the high anxiety that this particular raven comes with. So as you can see, the raven, just a very nervous creature. One of the surprises of this sort of country cafe for wild animals is the response I get. Sometimes it's surprising. One of the birds that surprised me the most was the titmouse. The titmouse started eating chicken. And I was very surprised about that because I think of the titmouse as a lovely little songbird, but it's a carnivore. And that was a surprise to me.